I'm going to welcome you back to the Principals Podcast. It's been a couple days since we've uh, been on the air. From that time, we had a Easter holiday. We hope that everyone has had a wonderful time again with your family inside of your house. Today, we have some special guests from those who just came out of freshman mentoring training. We have some lead mentors that just were virtually trained, spent about an hour and a half inside of various virtual meetings. So we are going to welcome Andy Mann and Cade McDivitt. We have Catherine Condon. We have Ivan Orozco. We have Hamulak in the corner there. Looks like you have some Hinduism going on your wall. We have Peter Roby. And again, my guests are also my co-hosts, Mr. Hyam and Mr. Bandera, who's sporting a beautiful mustache.
He's up there.
I'm in the middle. This is like the Brady Bunch. So I don't know what that would make me of, like a little kid. So maybe Alice. I'll clean things up.
You have the free spot, right in the middle.
Free spot. Let's first talk with all of you on how things are going. So Andy, how's the last month been for you? You're a big time runner and you love active life. So how are things going for you?
It's been going okay. Like, it's kind of hard to stay motivated and everything, but you just kind of have to do it because there's nothing like official yet with the season. So yeah, I don't know. It's going.
Mm-hmm. Cade, you've been working your tail off, both in school but also outside of school, especially getting ready for the spring sports. How's things going with you?
They're good. I miss baseball, but it's like Andy said, it's hard to stay motivated to keep working because you don't know if we'll play summer ball at all too. So,
Kat, how things going in your neck of the woods?
Not too bad, I guess. I don't have a spring sport to worry about, so just focusing on schoolwork and other things.
Ivan, are you under a bunk bed? What's the story there?
Yes, I share a bunk bed with my brother.
I like it.
So that puts things into life with super quarantining because you literally are with your sibling. How's things in your house?
Well, like everyone has said before, it gets very boring very quickly. So it's hard to entertain yourself, especially with schoolwork added on top of that.
Hamulak. So you guys are very competitive in your household. Obviously, you are constantly training. So is your siblings. Have you had to come up with any new routines or games to keep the competitive side going?
No. I think after gymnastics season, I was kind of fine having this kind of break. I was kind of tired anyway, so I kind of like it. Just being able to relax.
Peter, how about you?
I'm doing good and staying active, and just hanging with the family. I've probably never had this much time with my family ever before.
Are any of you guys doing a job right now, a part-time job or anything?
No.
My dad.
So I lost my job.
I used to work at Mark, but okay. I actually quit there because I didn't want to risk anything.
Sure. Understandable.
Have any of you guys, we'll start with Andy, go around. Any of you guys started anything new since we've been away from school? Taken anything, any new hobbies or started anything?
I've been painting a bit more and just art and stuff like that, but that's it.
Cool.
Dave? Not really anything for me.
Okay, Kat?
I've been painting, like what Andy said, and I've also been reading a lot, but that's it.
And Ivan?
I've started keeping a diary, and I finally learned why people like it.
And why is that?
Awesome.
It's very hard to. It's very easy with a diary to keep track of your thoughts and stuff you need to do from day to day. I find it very helpful.
That'll be interesting to look back on in a few years too, I'm sure, during this time.
Yeah, definitely.
And Margaret?
Nothing much really new.
Any new handstands or anything else?
No, not really.
And
The
Peter?
longest you've ever been away from a gym?
I've built a couple of rockets that I'll launch up and
Ooh.
bring back down.
There's a house on Ravenna Road you might want to launch them towards. It's yellow.
Sure.
Can't miss it.
Let's do it. There was a massive explosion over here right when I was meeting with you guys where we lost power. So maybe he was testing it. So the purpose of our podcast today is talk about freshman mentoring, because today was the first time ever that we had a virtual training, and the numbers were really high. You had close to 60 people in and out of that meeting. Lots of props go out to the seniors who developed it, along with Mrs. Segula and Mrs. Butala, which was a lot of planning. So you are our new lead mentors. So just going around, let's talk a little bit about that experience and like what you're looking forward to with freshman mentoring, what you kind of learned a little bit about the routines today, and what you're hoping for, hopefully in August when we were able to go live again. So let's start with Peter with today's experience and your new role.
Well, I'm going to be a activity lead mentor, and basically I keep track of like the budget, and I'm that with Kate and Margaret, and we also we check to see if anyone's parked in those lead mentoring spots. We get to make sure they're not cheating the system. I'm looking forward to really just making sure that, everyone's having fun, because I know when I was a freshman, I wasn't. I mean, I was pretty good academically, so I really only cared about the like parties and having fun during senior mentoring. But I understand that tutoring is also a big part.
Samuelak, you, your brother is a mentor this year, right?
Yeah.
And so you get to kind of follow that road. And I know that your younger sibling is probably going to follow that same road, wanting to be that lead mentor. So talk a little bit about, your role. We heard about your role, but a little bit more about that, and then kind of the experience today and what you're looking forward to.
Yeah, I knew I wanted to do senior mentoring just because my older siblings had done it, and they always seemed to like it and enjoy it. I didn't really know what like a lead mentor was compared to like a normal senior mentor, but after like hearing them talk about it, I feel like I'll like enjoy it a lot, and I'm actually excited to like go back and be able to do it. Yeah.
Ivan, you were in a lot of different meetings today and going back and forth between Hannah and Mrs. Segulin's group, and talk a little bit about your experience inside of the virtual training along with your new role as being a lead mentor.
Well, I am going to be a tutor lead mentor, which means I will be making sure that everybody is going to be doing well academically and the freshmen are going to get the help they need from their teachers. And as for the training, it definitely, I feel like it could have gone better as for the connections, because a lot of people were coming in and out because they kept lagging out, or their internet would go down or something. And I felt like it was just, that was really only the biggest problem, but everything else went smoothly considering it was virtual.
Catherine, you're involved in a lot of different things, from leadership to service experiences, and now you get to apply that inside of freshman mentoring, something that I remember hearing you give your 8th grade kind of farewell speech in the gym, and now you are a senior. Crazy to think about. So now you're in this position. So what do you look forward to?
I remember when I was a freshman, I didn't really enjoy freshman mentoring that much. So I guess I'm kind of just excited to make it better and hopefully make every freshman enjoy it, especially now because we're doing it the whole year, I think, which will be a lot better to be able to like form bonds between the freshmen and the mentors. So yeah.
And I think that Mr. Heim and Bandera would agree. We have a great group of 8th graders who are going to be freshmen, that they're going to be very moldable. And we're not kidding. I mean, we've had a lot of different experiences with either the freshmen coming up or 8th grade to 9th grade. This has been a really good class that they're going to be longing for this experience. And we're going back to having mentoring for a year as we kind of transition into kind of that Top Time 2.0. Cade, what's your role this year? And what did one thing that you took out of today's meetings?
Also an activity lead mentor, and like I also didn't really like freshman mentoring when I was a freshman. Like feel like it wasn't organized, like nobody really had any fun. So I'm hoping like next year the kids actually enjoy it. They want to go to it every day. We come up with good things for them to do, and basically that's it.
And Andy, you have a very busy schedule. However, you're applying this into the middle of your school day. What ways do you feel that you can kind of model and mentor the upcoming 8th grade boys and girls to the high school? And what's your role this year?
This year I'm gonna be a tutor lead mentor, and I feel like as long as like I don't know, I just feel like if they know how like important the academics are their freshman year, like just for college and like later on in high school, I feel like that would benefit them like later on. So I just want them to like realize that and like inform them kind of like how their freshman year impacts them later on.
It does go by quick. I mean, I remember, your class in particular coming in as freshmen, and now to think that you guys are about to be seniors, it's a crazy amount of time that's passed, and it seems like just a blink of an eye. I'm not sure if you guys always feel like that, but that's for me. So beyond the freshman mentoring thing, right now it's been kind of difficult to stay in contact with people. What are some unique ways or different ways that everyone's staying in contact with family and friends? Did you do anything on Easter or trying to connect with those you're not physically seeing right now?
I've been
Well,
doing a lot of like FaceTiming with my friends, I guess, to stay in contact with them.
Okay.
As far as my parents go, I don't really have a big family, so I pretty much see them all the time just because we all live really close. But yeah.
Is your grandma still getting like apple fritters and stuff?
Yes. Yeah, she's doing
Best
good.
golf day ever.
Yeah, it was. Eating Kensta is just great. It feels
Yes.
super good.
Anyone else doing any type of thing? Any FaceTime, any Google Meets, any Zooms, anything like that?
My sister actually, her birthday was yesterday, and they had a Google Meet with all her friends,
That's fun.
and they all ate like cupcakes together.
Has anyone discovered House Party yet? The app? No. It's kind of fun. It's a game that Mr. Kovac introduced me to, and it's an app for the phone that you can essentially play like little games with people, like Heads Up, or like they have like almost like an apples to apples type game, and it's fun. It takes up a little bit of time, so if you're ever bored one night, have a bunch of your friends download House Party. I approve of it.
Hey, Cade, how's things in your house? Because your dad is actively involved as assistant superintendent. Has his life kind of been flipped over upside down, and he's been doing a lot of meetings and trying to organize life over in his district?
Yeah, my mom's a teacher at Riverside District too, so they're both on meetings a lot all day. They're on Google Meets and Zooms, and they have a lot to do. So I don't see them much, even though they're here all day.
What's your biggest fear, like academically, the group that's here, like knowing that we don't know certain things, like the governor spoke today. I don't think he talked about schools, but at some point he's going to be talking about schools again and whether we're returning or if we're going to have a kind of an extension to this social distancing. Like, what's your biggest fear for yourself and maybe for some of your friends that might be in the senior class, as we kind of manipulate, hopefully be able to manipulate a closing the year. But what's your fear right now, academically or athletically?
I'm really hoping that colleges will take AP tests now that they're changed, and it's seeming like they will, but there's still like the slight chance that they might not, and I hope that's the case.
Yeah, I'm nervous about that too.
Those
I also want to take the ACT one more time. So it's like I'm really close to my goal.
Mhm.
It's like one more time, I think I'll do it, but hopefully I get to do that.
so there's a AP webinar tomorrow night that you can join. I think you received it.
Mhm.
And I've seen a lot of different tweets out there from colleges that are going to waive various parts of admissions process for not only those seniors who haven't chosen, but those juniors who are selecting. Um, every level of education is going through this change, and we're going to see a totally, I would say, a revolution of education here as when we reopen, because we want to educate normal face to face, but there's going to be portions of what we did in the past that are going to have to adjust. You know, the AP test, you 45 minutes, you can pretty much use your resources available to you, and they have obviously all the different filtrations to know whether things are authentic or not. But just knowing that for me, when I took tests where I was open book, I almost had more stress than when I had tests that were not open book, because I can kind of just be myself. But then I want to get it so right that I have to look things up. This is a complete flip of the model. And then some of you might be different. So whereas like that's a benefit to you, it is a definite benefit. But if it's not in your wheelhouse of how you prepare, it's something that you have to prepare for. So I totally get the whole AP fears. A lot of you have
Another thing,
friends. Go ahead.
another thing is, I know a couple students with spring sports that were trying to get scholarships even from their performances, and I feel bad for them who won't get the chance.
It's been interesting. We've been talking with Mrs. Jacobs a lot, and her husband is a head football coach. He just took a job in North Carolina actually, and he's he's not a quiet man by any means. So when we're Google meeting, he's usually in the background having his own meetings or Zoom meetings with other coaches, and his whole world has changed. I mean, this is a big recruiting time for him, and usually, he'd be all over the state or all over the country right now recruiting different athletes or watching different athletes in different sports, and he's not right now. He's stuck at home behind a computer as well. So I think it's going to be it's going to be very interesting to see, how coaches are recruiting athletes. Are they, is it a lot of video work that they're doing? Are students creating video portfolios even more now to get into sports? I think that those are all going to be interesting things, and what the next couple of years look like for college sports.
But like looking at, some of you who are really active in athletics, like between Hamulak and Mann and McDivitt, you have established yourself both in season and in other seasons where these schools they know who you are. They've seen the body of work, and so they can really apply those that prior knowledge in making determinations. But of course, just like these private institutions or public institutions, they might be seeing some of their scholarship monies being reduced, so they have to really focus on, okay, how are we going to align this? Whereas in the past, you might be able to get more of an athletic scholarship, you might have to apply other scholarships, academic scholarships, and these things get married together until they get reestablished to be able to focus on those things. What questions do you have for us? And I know we're going to be having some kind of lighter ended questions, but do you have any questions for us since we haven't seen you face to face in a while?
I heard that we weren't going to have finals. Is that true?
No finals.
No finals. You are correct.
Yes, you have your grades are based out of 4 quarters instead of 5. So that's how.
I know many of you in school would never cut a class, but have any of you cut a class once we went virtual? You can always plead the fifth here.
Not on purpose.
I probably have.
Oh, okay. Bandera, you got that one or me?
I'll write the detentions. It's okay.
Yeah, I'll tell Halber. No.
And then the quiet ones. You got to be careful with those quiet ones. They never answer. That tells you a lot.
Mr. Tomko said he was running detentions at the middle school by making the students come in and to a Google Meet and stare at his face for a half hour.
Oh,
I don't know
goodness.
if I'm not sure if I'm willing to do that yet.
No,
Mills make Kovac tell him dad jokes for a half hour.
that'd be
That'd
painful.
be pain.
Yeah. What other questions do you guys have? Anything else? We got the finals one there.
How are you all personally taking this as parents?
I'll start with that one since I have probably the most different situation there. My son is 2 years old now, and it's very difficult to separate the regular dad life from work life for me. So, when I'm trying to work or when I'm on meetings with parents and families or whoever, and my son decides that it's time to play, or he wants me to hold him, or he wants to walk me down the hallway, um, it's a little tough at times to kind of separate that. So, I definitely give props to anyone that has younger brothers or sisters at home, or kids at home, or whoever else. It's definitely a different situation. Mr. Hyam?
Yeah, it's been tough at times. My wife's a school counselor in Cleveland Heights, so she has a lot of meetings just like I do. And for some reason, the boys who are 10 and 7 finish their schoolwork awfully quickly, which therefore it's just a matter of time before they put their hands on each other. So hopefully it's not during one of these meetings, so I have to like pause and go break up a sibling rivalry. How about you, Mr. Murray?
Well, I can tell you that I absolutely totally appreciate the work that my wife does. I know that she's a designer, and I'm living in one of her designed homes. But to see her work has been absolutely amazing, and she explains it. It's so complicated being, a school designer. Um, my kids, they have been absolutely outstanding. I have obviously teenagers. Um, they're getting a little antsy though, like stir crazy, um, making up things. I mean, I caught, and I know I don't care. This is going public here, but I caught Sydney doing like jazzercise, like totally working out like old school workouts. And I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm bored. I'm like, she's done everything from hit in the basement, throw in the basement, go outside, find the woods, go deep in the woods, collect stuff, burn stuff that we have, in not like arson, but we have piles of wood to burn. But it's like, I think they're ready. They're getting a little stir crazy.
All right. So I've been asking everyone this. If you get some more questions, feel free to jump in too. But I've been asking everyone a couple of these questions. So I'm going to add two questions. I'm going to ask what your favorite quarantine meal has been so far, and then also, what's been like the thing that's been closed that impacts you the most? I know some people have said King Cone or whatever it might be. So what's been closed that impacts you the most in your life? I'll start with Andy. Andy, what favorite quarantine meal and most impactful closure right now?
I haven't had like a favorite meal, but like my mom's been making a lot of different like new casserole recipes and stuff. And they've been pretty good.
Okay.
And then like the thing that's impacted me the most is just kind of like not being able to run with my friends and stuff like that. Like just going anywhere to hang out. Yeah.
Got it. Cade, you're up.
Favorite meal, probably any type of tacos. Like my dad makes chorizo tacos, regular chicken. And clothes, probably the gym because it like puts me out of my routine. Now I don't have as much motivation to work out because I can't work out with my friends. So that's tough.
Yeah. Kat, what about you?
My mom makes this really good homemade pizza, which is probably my favorite meal. And then the place that's closed is probably my job.
Yeah, that would be a big impact there. Peter?
My favorite meal is now I have time to make my own pancakes, and I make some pretty smacking pancakes. Those are good.
Well, when we get back in school, I'm looking forward to having one of those.
Okay. And place that's closed, probably the school, just because I see a lot more people there than I normally do.
Margaret?
Favorite meal? I don't really know because my family doesn't cook too much. Even now, like since
Could
we're
be
all
something you
home.
ordered.
Hmm.
Why do you think Jake is so small? Because they don't eat.
Yeah. So we're just kind of used to that. But I know Starbucks is closed. I don't know why that was annoying. And like gymnastics being closed. It's hard.
Is this the longest you ever spent away from a gym?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right, Ivan, finish us up with your favorite meal and biggest impactful closure.
Well, I don't know why, but I feel like during quarantine, I feel like all types of pastas have been just like 10 times as good. I don't know why. And as for closing, I feel like definitely school because I feel like it's at school, it's definitely easier to learn. It's easier to socialize, even if you're not supposed to be. And yeah, I think school has impacted me the most.
Gotcha.
So we might not get back to school this year, but I'm sure we'll get back in the fall and you guys will be seniors. What's the first thing you want to do when you get back to school? Annie?
I don't really know. I just feel like it would be nice to see like other people like face to face and everything, and even just like talking to the teachers a little more. It's been weird just like not seeing everyone.
Hey, Peter?
I wouldn't even know either. Just seeing people.
And Margaret?
Yeah, I think it'll be nice to get back into like a normal schedule. And I think we'll all like appreciate going to school a lot more when we can go back.
And Ivan?
I feel like definitely it's going to be a little weird seeing people you haven't seen since almost a year. So definitely there's kind of like this bridge that we need to close once quarantine is over and everything get back to normal.
Mhm.
And Cade?
I think everybody will appreciate being there and like just be like more happy and connect more because they won't take it for granted anymore.
Catherine, can you finish this out?
Yeah, probably just seeing my teachers and friends and catching up with everybody and seeing how they've been.
Sounds like we need a day of just catching up, Mr. Murray, the first day of school. Just a full
I'm in.
3 day.
I want to have a huge party when we can finally bring us together.
I agree.
No one mentioned that beautiful building. No one's excited for the the leaky ceilings, the plants growing in the hallways, all that kind of stuff.
Can you
It's
imagine what it looks like now that no one's been in there for over a month?
It's going to look like
Oh,
Jumanji.
right.
So many different critters and yeah. Hey, last thing we want to do is some shout outs. Certainly, we miss you guys. Like I can't even describe. We love people. We love being with people. Virtual is nice. It's a nice little connection, but it's not the same as like having those little inside jokes that you can see people are coming around at different tables and having fun. But shout outs. We want to give you the opportunity for any shout outs to your friends out there, any of your family, your teachers, anyone you want to shout out, including my assistant principals. I want you to shout people out today.
Am I starting?
Go ahead.
Okay. So I want to shout out myself because I won Kahoot today, and it's my first win. It'll probably be my last win in the next 50 years. So I'm very proud of myself. I had a victory speech and everything prepared today. So yeah, I want to shout out myself for winning that Kahoot today.
Well done.
I'll shout out Jack Sweet because I told him to watch since I was going to be on. So hopefully he's watching eventually when this comes out.
Well, I think I want to shout out my family for driving me insane, and I want to thank my friends. You know who you are for counteracting that.
Well balanced there. I like it.
I'm going to shout out my friend Catherine Giza because she also said that she would watch it just because I'm on it apparently. So
I'll shout out my dad because I know he'll watch this, and Drew Fetchick because he also told me he would watch it.
Drew was one of our first stars.
I don't know
Yeah.
about star. He was
He
on.
was-
Well,
He
I
was
don't know if I'd
present.
call him a star.
that's true.
Shout out Emma Gittins. She probably won't watch this, so she won't know. But maybe I'll tell her.
Yeah, I'd have to shout out Bree. I don't know if she'll watch it, but I'll try to get her to.
Cool.
I shout out the school counselors. I think they're doing unbelievable work from home. They're a face-to-face type entity in our high school that's so important. They're trying to stay on top of AP, work on the master schedule, work on college recommendation letters, you name it, they're on top of it. I think they've been doing a phenomenal job.
Did you just give Mr. Kovac a compliment?
I should, oh, well, yes, I did. All right. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
First one today.
Those are all the shout outs?
You got
All you, buddy.
Well, one, I got to shout out Mrs. Segulin and Butala for putting together our virtual freshman mentoring program training today. That could not have been easy. Of course, all the senior mentors that put it together. But and in the spirit of Ivan, I want to give a final shout out to all the parents out there who are of every grade level, working with their sons and daughters, caring for them 24 hours a day, whatever their learning ability is and their hunger, because I'm sure you constantly, all of you want to eat more than ever. So I want to give a shout out to all the parents. And let's close one last thing, because this is Bandera's baby. You've always asked about new shows that people are binging.
Ah, yes.
So any new shows you've been binging, I'm going to be honest, because I don't really care. My kids have played The Big Show, which is on Netflix. It's the guy from the WWE, has this little sitcom called The Big Show. There was 8 episodes. I somehow watched it with them, and they weren't very long. But I'm like, this is like a 2020 version of Full House. It was not bad. So I'm giving it a +1 for that. Any new shows?
Well, I started watching House MD, and I think it's hilarious, even though it's supposed to be serious.
Any other good shows out there? I need some recommendations. I'm getting bored with my usuals.
I've been binging on My Block on Netflix. I think it's hilarious.
I haven't seen that one.
I've kind of wanted to rewatch Game of Thrones, but I kind of don't want to get invested into like 1,000 hours or however long that is.
You got the time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've been watching one home improvement show after another, getting 20 ideas and then scratching off all 19 or leaving one to possibly work on. So like Mr. Murray said the other day, at some point I'm going to run out of projects to do in the house. So
Well, keep those shows coming. Something that we can do is, as our family or friends, watch things. Certainly, Mr. Bandera gave you the idea of doing the house party. I know Mr. Kovac has been really involved in trying to stalk Mr. Bandera and doing that game. We appreciate your time today. We know you're tired. We totally get it. You've had a long day of virtual learning and then training. So here are your lead mentors for the class of, what are you guys going to be, 21? Are you the 21?
21, yeah.
Class of 21 lead mentors. So we appreciate you, and we will certainly be back again tomorrow at the same time. So take care, guys.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.